Cameron and I are at the shop and about to start working on the Blazer. Chris is going to be here in just a little bit. So this thing, I was told by the guy that it had a locker in it, it had a mini spool in it, and you know, that it could get kind of scary in the rain, and it can, even the way it is. But you can see after this full clip, obviously, we don't have a locker or mini spool or limited slip. So without not having anything in there, just one tire will spin. And obviously you can see the video, it does a really good drag on that one line, one side there. So by putting a mini spool in it, which is what we're about to do, we're going to take it apart, pull the spider gears out, put the mini spool in. That will essentially lock both axles together with the ring gear. So then it should be good. And then doing it this way and not welding the gears, you can take this back out, make it an open diff again, no problem. But I checked the RPO codes on it, and the RPO code said it had the heavy duty 411 gear in it from the factory. I'm guessing it's all factory. And it definitely has a 411 in it. We counted the turns and all that stuff, so we'll know for sure when we get to looking at the gears. We can see on the ring gear. So we'll take a look at it and get those in and see what happens. All right, truck is up. You can see we've had some dirt daubers back here on the diff cover. So we're about to bust it off, drain out the fluid, then we can see what it looks like. All right, there's the fluid. Pretty nasty looking. A couple bolts still on the top holding it on there. Get all this fluid out of it and then see what it looks like. Alright guys, if you can see right there on the edge of the ring gear, you can see that it says 9 and 37. So that is the ratio, 9:37. So if you do 37 divided by 9, you get 4.111111, and that makes this a 411 gear. So the pinion, which is in there, has 9 teeth. The ring gear has 37 teeth. You can definitely tell this is a completely stock. This thing's never been opened. It was all glued shut, everything, never been touched. Completely stock, open drive. Here's your spider gears in here. So that's what we're removing. We're going to take out the spider gears and replace those with blocks of metal. All right, guys, so this is a really weird thing here. You can see that this is cast metal that was never machined, so I guess it never got cast out all the way. So when they actually cut down the gears, this was left in there. As I thought it was broken when I first saw it, but you can tell it's got a little bubble on it. This is just cast steel right there, still rough. So it never got taken care of, and somehow made it to production and all the way into the vehicle. But there's no metal in here. I've already wiped around in here. All right, guys, all the diff cover bolts were all 1/2 inch, and this little bolt right here holds the actual pin in, which holds the gears. So that's the first thing we've got to take loose, and that is an 8mm here, which that's not going to work. So I'm going to have to get a wrench. All right, magically turned into an 8mm wrench. All right, so Chris made it. So anyways, got this bolt loose. This is our first one. So pull this out, and this holds our pin.
We can't see the bolt.
I know.
In the way.
That's okay. There it is. So that holds the pin in, which is right here, which just wants to fall right out. So if this bolt ever breaks, that bolt or this pin will tear apart the whole case, which sometimes happens. So you don't want this bolt to come out. And it was in there really good. So now we can roll this around and then get our pin to drop out. That was quick. So there you go. The pin has fallen. So there's our pin there.
Pin.
Ready? That's good. So you're gonna roll. You just roll the axles around, and then you can pull the spider gears out. And obviously that one is already fallen, but those come right out. No issues there. All right, so now the wheels will just turn by themselves. What's scary about a lot of GM rear ends is all they have is a C-clip in here holding the axle in place. So if that C-clip ever breaks, the axle goes for a walk without you on it. So the way that you get those out, as you push the axle in, that allows you to pull the C-clip. So you see it moved in just slightly. So that's how much movement there is on this axle stock. Now on a Ford, the axles actually bolt in, so they can't fall out going down the road. So we got to push this on in. Good to go. Now we got to get that out. Let's see. Easiest way to get that seat right. All right, guys. So push the axle in all the way, and then you can actually see it. The clip is actually in here, so we just need to get that to fall out.
There it is.
There it goes. So now, where's it hiding at? There it is. So there's the C-clip. So that's all there is to it that holds that axle in place. All right, so here is the first axle gear. Pull it out of there. This is for the right side. So we'll set it off to the side here. And then the other one, what we need to do is just really just push the axle out a little bit. There we go. Pull out the gear. Get on out of there. There it is. And there you go. That's the other side. Pretty cool. All right, guys. So now we're going to slide this one in first. Got our washer on there. We're going to slide it in to the carrier here. Once we've got that in the carrier, now we can line it up with the splines and then ease our axle into place just slightly. There you go. Axle's lined up. Push it on in. Everything is good to go there. So that one is done. Now we're going to grab the other one, which is here. Put the washer back on there. Set it down in place. Drop it on into the carrier. That. Okay. Now we'll ease the axle in. Yep. Ooh. Lock it in place. Go. It's good. All right. Now you want to make sure that your square is lined up with each other. So the next thing to do is throw the C-clips in place. All right, so here's our C-clips. So now all we're gonna do is push these in place, and we may have to trim them, and we are. So now what we've got to do is, because these are squared, these are round hole in a square peg or whatever that don't fit. So we're gonna trim these up on the edges, and those will slide right down in there. All right, so I'm gonna use a grinder just to put a little flat edge on both sides. Very dangerous to do this with your hand.
This is what stupid Chevy people would do.
Yo!
Pair of pliers 10 feet away, and he wants to use his hands. Here we are, a Ford guy helping a Chevy guy.
No, I'm a Ford guy.
Using their brain.
Don't get it wrong now.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
Just grab it on one side. That's definitely how it is.
All right, so here's the C-clips. Made a little flat side on each edge of it, so now they'll slide right down in on top of the axle. And really, this is the weakest part, like I said before, of the whole thing. And now we've ground on it and made it even smaller. So that slides down in one side onto the axle, which is good. The other one will slide down on it, which is good. And push the axles back out, and they are locked in. Right? So now what we need to do is put the square blocks in. So this first square will drop in place. There it is. So there you go. Now you can see, because of that, both of our axles are locked together. So this is a complete locker now. All right, so now what we're gonna do is roll this square block down until it meets the pin. Drop it on down. And the hole, there we go. All right, so here's our hole and our bolt. We're just gonna slide it up, slide the bolt into it, and bolt that up. And once we get this completely tight, now the rear end is completely locked together. So now it's got a full locker with that mini spool. And we didn't have to change anything. You don't have to mess with your lash on here or any of that stuff. It just goes right in, you bolt it up. Pretty cool.
Look at it.
All right, guys, so I got the plate going back on. Cover back up here. All right. And when you get this up here, you're gonna make sure you have some bolts in your hand. Chris, will you give me some bolts?
I'm gonna do the star pattern set up here. Yep.
Make sure these are star tight. You just tighten them until you see stars. All right, so here's our fill hole here. So what we're gonna do is shove this in there, and it's supposed to take like a 1 3/4 of a quart. So this is just the first quart, so it should go in just fine. Went pretty easily. Slide the axles back in. Ow, that hurt. Oh, look at that.